So I was driving home from college on Labor Day weekend, my freshman year, and I wasn't exactly driving. I was riding with a friend in a really beautiful yellow 82 Daytona. And we were riding back from Shreveport into Baton Rouge, and she was really kind to let me tag along since I didn't have a car at the moment. And we found ourselves driving on 190, going over by Cajun Circus and all those areas back at that time. And you heard the sound in the midst of the radio and the tunes that we were playing that you never ever want to hear. Pop! Right? And of course we stopped, pulled off, and realized that this was a problem internally we had no idea how to deal with. Even as young women that had been taught to change a tire and this and that, this was a problem, a struggle, a difficulty that we had no idea how to face or even how to solve, or even what we were looking at. And to add to that, in the midst of our anxiety, we had locked the car doors with our Nokia flip phones, you know, circa late 90s, and the keys in the very car. Standing there in the middle of Louisiana fall that was still 90 degrees with no idea what to do next. I know that each of us have had moments where we look up at God and say, really? Really? Some that are maybe short-lived, we would say, like the one that I just told you, and then some that hit to the very bone and marrow of our lives, wondering if we can survive this thing that is right in front of us. Or even the thing that is far behind us that we just can't fully let go of, or the very thing that continues to live, the grief that continues to live, whatever it may be, in our hearts that will never fully release us from its grip. We all know times where things didn't go where we expected it. And if your life is anything like mine, you have a plan often, and then you have the reality of that plan. And never the twain shall quite meet. We all have dreams and expectations for our lives, for our relationships and careers, and especially for people that we care about, our kids, our friends, our family. And there is a great discomfort when we experience that our reality does not match those expectations that are attached to it. I remember a mentor telling me long ago that expectations are the very thief of joy. And I'm not so sure. Yes, sometimes they are, but sometimes great expectations in life can be the very thing of dreams, can be the very thing of new inventions and stick-to-itiveness that is the very thing that helps us survive, if not thrive, and then bring others along with us. Expectations are a complicated thing, as life is. What I notice in that little example that I gave you, and probably every example that we can point to in our pews or on our chancel, all of us today, is that these experiences of frustration and disappointment are the very times where God feels often most far away. When everything in Scripture, everything that your talking mouth preacher, everything that maybe the people that you respect and revere in your lives say otherwise, the feeling perhaps is distance rather than proximity. But one of the things that I've noticed is in the midst of all of Advent and even the scriptures that we can see here in our service tonight, God is all about preparing and opening the way for that proximity, that nearness to come. We spoke about and sang about, "Nearer, my God, to thee." We will sing and meditate to the global words from the Taizé community of "Stay with me, remember me, watch and pray. Do not leave me in the darkness, O God." Or the words of Isaiah where, "Comfort, O comfort my people, my God." And we think about these images of the mountains and the valleys being made a plain and all people shall see together. That's not just a theoretical, beautiful picture. It is all of the very things of our lives, the high points and the low points that feel like they couldn't be as far apart in our experience. And it is the promise and the power of God that even if it doesn't feel like it right now, as a grief maybe in your life is fresh, or maybe if it doesn't feel like it right now, even as a grief is long held over many years, if not decades, that proximity, my friends, I believe, even when it's hard, is God's only priority and God's forever promise. I look at those of us that are here tonight and think in my spirit about those that may be joining us in live feed. I know there are some of us, myself included, that come to this day with a little bit of a just catch in our throat from the deaths that we've experienced of those close to us. I know of two people in this room that are deeply concerned and companioning those who are incarcerated. I know of one that has a dearly loved family and country across the world who is war-torn and tired, fearing for their lives. I know of one in this room struggling with fertility and the dream of a family. And there are others. There are others. And so for us, I hope that we can think about not just the experiences in our lives, but the very experience of doubt and faith, of presence and absence, of light and dimness or darkness, actually being much more close in their experience than we might realize. That they may not be so black and white or far apart as we might assume. Good, bad, light and dark, doubt and faith, they're not as clear-cut of categories as we are tempted to believe, because we know from this experience of a balmy Louisiana winter that things do, in fact, die in the light and grow in the dark. I lean on Barbara Brown Taylor's words often during this time of year. And I'll just share a few of these as, again, a reminder of the ways that our lives are much more complicated, integrated, and nuanced as we might allow ourselves to remember. She says these words: "There is a light that shines in the darkness, and that light sometimes is only visible there." She says, "I've learned things in the dark that I could have never learned in the light. Things that have saved my life over and over again, so that there is really only one logical conclusion, that I need darkness as much as I need light." She says, "Even when light fades and darkness falls, as it does every single day, in every single life, God does not turn the world over to some other deity. Here is the testimony of faith," she says. "Darkness is not dark to God, and the night is as bright as the day." This is the proximity, the mixing, the closing in of these seemingly separate realities that Jesus came to usher in. or to point to in his love with skin on the ways that that mixing and that complication even that shows up sometimes in grief and sadness and anger and frustration in our own hearts, even that can be the very proximity that helps us truly experience the joy and the agony of what it is to be human. And above all things, because of Christ's redemptive love, that we would remember that even in this time that you are experiencing now, and every time, that we are not alone. So without our cell phone, no way to contact anyone that we care about to help us. It was still the time of payphones to some degree, and we had a walk to make. We thought we were completely on our own and were desperate, or so we thought. Within about 5 minutes, an old rusty car drove up, and with a dirty, greasy, bearded man that stepped out of that truck, he came up to us and said, "Ladies, how can I help you?" And we told him what was going on and that we really just needed to get in our car. Is there any way that you know how to open this up? And with his old biker skull rag, he said, "Yeah, I might have an idea." And so we went into his truck. He got a few different tools to try, and then he finally got a coat hanger and started to rig on the side, the passenger side, and then the driver's side of the car, and was able to bring it open. And we were just dumbfounded, thankful, and we said, "Thank you so much, you're so kind." And the man said, "Friends, I'm not kind. I'm not even a nice man, I don't think. I just got out of prison a few months ago, and I'm just thankful to be able to do something good for once as I'm starting my life once again." And we hesitated for a second, we looked at each other and actually hugged, and then he walked away and drove, leaving us to go on our way as well. And even in the midst of all of that light and dark, the seeming good and bad, mixing in such a wonderful and confounding way in a very simple experience of unmet expectations, we were thankful that God sent us exactly who we needed, even a professional. So tonight, I pray that we will have the courage to open our eyes and our hearts to see beyond the obvious or beyond what feels overwhelming in our lives. May you and I tonight experience Christ making a home in our mess, in this world, and in the very experience of questions and struggles that we carry. May it be so for you and for me. Amen.